They could never have imagined that their father would never return. He came to the city. He looked at his father's high-rise company and lamented that it had been more than 10 years since he had been kicked out by his father. It was the first time he came to the city to see his father. He knew that he would die soon. He could only trust his father with his 2 daughters. Outside the door, his father's driver saw him. He ran up to him and said, "Young master." The chauffeur immediately took him to the office of the chairman of the Zaibatsu. When the father saw his son in poor clothes, he was shocked. Who would have thought that the young master of the Zaibatsu, now he is full of vicissitudes of life. 10 years ago, he fell in love with his wife, but his Zaibatsu father strongly opposed it. In order to be with his wife, he gave up his status as the son of a tycoon. As a result, his father broke off his relationship with him and threw him out of the house. He and his wife came to live in the countryside. If he hadn't been worried about his 2 daughters, he wouldn't have come to see his father. He would never have come to see his father. But after all this time, the plutocratic father still can't forgive his son's choice. He thinks that his son came to see him this time. He thought he came to ask for money because he couldn't make ends meet. The son reluctantly told his father that if you weren't the only person I remembered, I wouldn't have come back. But as he got up to leave, his condition began to deteriorate. But the plutocrat's father didn't know his son had cancer. He watched his son leave in silence. But after his son left, the plutocrat's father shed a tear from the corner of his eye. This tear contained so much. When he arrived at the bus station, but due to the heavy snowfall, the bus home was suspended. The staff advised him to stay at a hotel for the night before leaving, but he didn't want to leave his daughters alone, thinking that his little daughter wouldn't sleep without an orange. So he carried the oranges that his little girl wanted so much. He braved the snow and set off for home, because the road was too slippery, and his condition deteriorated. Every step was so hard, he couldn't hold on any longer. I took out the pills I had with me to stop the pain. He took the snow on the ground and drank it as water, ignoring the pain. I picked up an orange and kept going. He fell down and got up again. All he wanted to do was to get home and be with his daughters. At that moment, he saw a car coming towards him. It was as if he saw hope. He waved his hand happily for the driver to stop, but it was snowing too hard. The driver didn't see who was in front of him, and when he did, tragedy struck. The fresh oranges were scattered all over the ground. On the snowy ground was so obvious, and he was lying in a pool of blood. When he was dying, he was still thinking of his little daughter waiting for him to come home. The next day, the 2 daughters were brought to the hospital without their father. The older sister told her sister to wait outside. She went to the autopsy room alone. She was too scared to go forward. When she saw the brand new leather shoes on her father's feet, she couldn't stop her tears. He knew these shoes too well. It was a birthday present bought by her sister for her father. Sister fell on her father's side and howled. She wished it wasn't her father lying there.